Hi guys, so welcome. We have a special episode today with Chris Reeves of TRIARC Systems, CEO of TRIARC Systems. So, Chris, you want to just say hello to everyone for those who don't know who you are?
Everyone, I'm sure, you've probably seen us and Jimmy a lot together, and, a little bit of disclaimer, I'm biased towards Jimmy's channel. Jimmy's been a big supporter of the company ever since TRIARC has moved up into the DFW, and from day one, since back in the, 100 guns days, 100 gun ammo days. Very helpful, and it was a good fit, so to speak, and I'm glad as far as how we're both on this journey of you doing what you love, and obviously me doing what I love. It's pretty awesome that we're growing together, and pretty cool.
It's been a fun ride, man.
Very fun. Yeah. Still got more to go.
Oh yeah.
So with that being said, I haven't told Jimmy about this. I just kind of wandered in here with this little box here, but this is something that a tradition that we started a long time ago, and obviously some of the TRIARC team members, as we call, like the original or people who've been with the company for a long time, as far as with Zach and Ruthie. We started this tradition where we have these nice Waterford crystal glasses, and we presented them a while back. And Zach and I were the first ones to get one, so it was like a status thing as we walked around the shop, drinking our whiskey from our nice glasses. So I brought mine, and then I also brought you, Jimmy. There you go. I want to present that to you.
Dude,
so,
thank you.
Not a problem.
Thanks, brother.
Anytime,
I appreciate it, man.
So I want to present that to you.
There you go. And then it's got my name on it.
There you go.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
We had to put names on it because of, obviously.
As people got added on.
Yeah, people got it on because, we don't want nobody use your glass. So
the way COVID's set up.
Yeah, the way COVID works is so.
Awesome.
And then also we'll go ahead and christen these nice glasses with some Logville 16. And I don't know, I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
We're going to find out. Yeah. Ask Charles.
Yeah. Oh, Charlita. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So today we have a special episode. Chris and I have been talking about this for a while. Wanted to sit down and do an interview with him. So Chris is always working. It took me forever to get him in front of the camera, and now he's, we've got the Tailored Solution series. We've got so many more. And so I wanted to sit down, and there's more, because we worked together for the amount of time we have, there's more I know about Chris that a lot of people don't know. And I felt like it was stuff about the company and about Chris that people, I think, would find interesting, but I think would also be beneficial, just information to have.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, Chris, why don't we sit down and do an interview? And we've talked about this for months and months and months, and finally took some time away to sneak away and do it.
Yeah, sneak away.
Yeah.
Zach gave me permission, so that's like the best part about this.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. This place is awesome. And
big shout out to Woolworth. It's a bar in Dallas. They're right next to the Giant Eyeball. If you know where it's at, check them out. I'll link them down below, their Instagram account. Come hit them up. It's an amazing building. I think it's 120 years old, 110 years old. So this is the library. They have a balcony. It's just a beautiful place.
And you can do events here. And I just had a great conversation with the owner, an awesome guy, veteran. And he's all about supporting the veteran community too. So those of you all out there, want to host an event for your business or just want to come hang out here or dine here, awesome place. So I'm looking forward to it. Awesome. I mean, it's the first time I've been here, and I'm already, Jimmy and I are thinking ideas of like, having events here or meetings or just dinners in general.
Yeah. Well, cheers. Yeah. And then let's get into these questions.
Salud. Oh, wow.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is good.
I see what all...
what the hype is about.
What the hype's about, yeah.
All right, so one of I think the big things that people don't know about you, or that a lot of people don't know, is that you are a Purple Heart recipient. And it's not something that we talk about. It's not something that we push. We don't use it to sell guns. It's not really promoted. People who've been around for a while know.
Yeah.
But the majority of people don't know. So do you want to talk about that a little bit and talk about kind of what the recovery was like and how that mindset has helped you in TRIARC and what you're doing now?
Well, yeah, I mean, I look at that event as there's multiple things that happened. It was such a life-changing event. I mean, right at first you kind of know, but I really didn't know the gravity of how life-changing it was. That single day led me to where I'm here, and I never would have thought that. It just, I mean, you don't think about that kind of stuff, and as you're in that deployment mindset, your mind is in the fight, and then you have to deal with those emotions of now you're done, and it's on a journey. And long story short, suicide bomber drove his vehicle into my Humvee as we were on a convoy, and it put everybody out as far as it's in the vehicle. Thankfully, nobody died in the vehicle, but we had some severe injuries. And all I gotta say is the majority of the protective equipment that I had worked. Unfortunately, I sustained injuries to where I had to be medevaced out, and yeah. So and then once you get out of country that fast, your whole life changes, and then you go through a whole path of recovery, rehabilitation for physical and mental injuries, and this is where I can relate with a lot of when it comes to veterans out there dealing with PTSD, and as many people in that time frame in the military were going through so many deployments and training, you're constantly on the go, so you really don't think about anything. And when I got put into that mindset of recovery and rehabilitation, well, you have no soldiers to worry about, you have no mission to worry about, and then that's where everything kind of sets in. Yeah. And you kind of learn as you go, and you have friends. And actually, one of my best friends for my first deployment, he just flew into last week, and he just left this Sunday, but he actually flew into the shop to help us work at the shop. Mm-hmm. Not like, hey, I want to come out, hang out, and party. He was like, you need help with the shop? Flew out, spent 5 days. So shout out to Jason Johnston out there. It's just like friends like that. Yeah. And as I came back and was going through my rehabilitation, we had that kind of, he's also a Purple Heart recipient too, but he also helped me out in my recovery process. So that's one thing I learned, is like relying on your friends was a key aspect to it, and just kind of, I did learn as I go, but for the most part, being in a community, having good friends, and finding a new mission was probably the best thing that happened to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So from that moment, and then you went through recovery, how did you end up in the gun industry? How did you get, you went through recovery, got out, how did you land in the industry? Because it didn't go straight into TRIARC, so how did you land in the industry?
Yeah, it was kind of fell into it. As you get in that transition period out, you really don't know what you want to do. And that time I had close to 14 years in, so I wanted to do the full 20 before pre-injury. And as the cards don't work out in your favor, you go through the process, okay, I'm getting out. You really don't think about it until the next day where you're completely out, don't have to go anywhere, and you're in your living room having a panic attack, wanting to throw up because you don't know what to do next. And so the best step was to kind of keep your mind busy. And I think a lot of it was, I like firearms. I had a friend that managed a firearms store, like a tactical store, so I just worked there a couple days a week to keep myself busy. Did some other, tried to get myself back in the physical fitness shape as much as I can, which helped out a lot, and did that for a little bit. And next thing you know, I had a friend of mine that opened up a gun company, and then asked if I would work for him, and from there, I dove into it.
Yeah. That's awesome. How long were you there?
Oh, gosh, I want to say probably about 3 years. 3 years total, a little over 3 years, yeah.
So then how did TRIARC come about? So I know the story, a lot of people don't. How did TRIARC come about, and then why start a new gun company? Of all the companies that are already that were in existence at the time, why start a new one?
Well, as you're learning things as you go, you're part of a business that's growing, and you see all the challenges that they face, but at the same time, when you're going through those challenges, you might have ideas or recommendations that you want to do in a sense, but you can't really fully execute them because it came to the realization that it wasn't my company. And as hard as I worked at it and hard as it wasn't my vision, I was working for somebody else's vision. And not saying that's a bad thing, but when it comes to where there was not good business decisions being made, or the times were tough, or whatever the deal was, I didn't like it. And so for just like another spontaneous reaction, is once I parted that way, the next day I started TRIARC, and with the help of a good friend of mine, Ruthie Jenkins, we just went down and started laying the groundwork on how to start a business, because I knew a little bit, but I didn't know, and then she helped me as far as when it came, because she was marketing and advertising, so she helped me on that side of it, and then the other side, when it comes to the product and the weapons, and having friends like Will Petty back in the day too, where everybody was kind of on this whole group of helping each other out, and a lot of people helped me, And that's where I'm very grateful. That's like the one thing I'll always be. That's why I work so hard, right? If so many people help you in life and they help you get to a certain point, well, you can't let them down by being a failure or taking all that help for granted. I can't do it, man. Like, you have to look yourself in the mirror every day. I can't do it, man.
Yeah.
So, but that's what made me work so hard, and it's taken different turns. You know, when I first started the company, I was all about making 308 gas guns, and then, you know, and
we know how that goes.
Yeah, we know how that goes. And then transitioned over to probably one of the most important parts about the rifle. After, you know, learning about it, its failures and its shortcomings and its positives, was the barrel. I mean, to me, the barrel is the heart of the gun. It does a lot, does a lot for the gun, controls how it operates, accuracy, reliability. It all ties into the barrel. So that's where I started.
Yeah, awesome. And that's how the track rifle came out. Yeah, gotcha. So what's been your biggest business lesson you've learned so far?
Wow, many. You
gotta pick one.
Pick one. I'll tell you what, do it right the first time. Don't shortchange anything. I gotta say that, like, don't shortchange anything. And when I come to that, like, there's methods to open up a business, and you find a lot of mentors and you find top people, but for your business, when it comes to starting a company, and when you get to like a point of sale, to an inventory system, to employees, you gotta take that dip into the red. It's just bootstrapping. We made it, it's tough, but you'll pay for that later on down the road. And you have to play catch up, which there's nothing wrong with that. You learn from it, but as you grow, now you have a plan. So every phase of growth you do, you have a plan to make sure that doesn't happen again. Yeah. And so it's a good lesson, but bootstrapping it's tough, man. Yeah. It's tough.
Oh no. Yeah. I mean, just seeing how far we've come in the 5 years that we've been up in the Dallas area since you moved up, it's been just amazing to see the growth. But the early days were very different than they are now. Yeah.
You know.
Just having that front row seat to see how it's grown and how it's changed. So with that being said, as far as Triarch has come, when you look back, you know, when you're older and grayer, what's the legacy you want to leave? What's the legacy you want to leave with Triarch and the industry and just people? I
want Triarch to be something that people can benefit off of. Everybody who puts into it, I want those people to be able to benefit off of. And that's just kind of the goal, whether it comes to training or helping them get to the next level, or, you know, obviously still providing products for everyone when it comes to law enforcement, civilian, just providing that good Second Amendment aspect to everybody's life and in their everyday life too. But yeah, I just want people to be able to have it there for them to know that, hey, they put into it and it's theirs for them as later on down that they need something from it, it's there. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So with that being said, and talking about the future and looking forward, where do you see the industry going in the next 5 years? And we've had this conversation about like what it's going to take in order for firearms to like what the next big change is going to have to be in order for firearms to actually make a big leap, right? But where do you see the industry going in the next 5 years?
It's tough, man. And we have these conversations all the time, and it's so hard to gauge because it's changing so constant, and even the political aspect of it is changing really quick too. I think there's so much information being driven out there. There's so much. It's just coming from everywhere. The information is, and when it comes to other companies, products, materials, shortages, everything out there, it's so hard to really kind of pinpoint on it. And when I look at it right now, it's very. I think being flexible and being able to adapt is going to be the most important part when it comes to as the industry is moving forward into the next industry, because I kind of see the ways that the old way of doing things, it has its time limit. Like it can only work for so long, and eventually it's going to something else has to take over and change. Every industry does it. I mean, look at the car industry when they got hit in 2008. Like, they had to make massive amount of changes to keep going because they kept doing the same old thing that they were doing before. A lot of
new cars came out in development, try to accommodate change, new ideas, new thinking.
Yeah, people wanted efficiency, people wanted cars to last, people just didn't want junk, and next thing you know, some companies adapted and made better cars and some just kind of stayed the same thing, and you can see it out in the street right now.
So. Yeah, I think we see that right now with a lot of companies that have been stuck and they refuse to change, and they're getting absorbed, they're going bankrupt, you know.
What's that method like, oh, this worked before? Well, yeah, it has, but there's certain aspects to where you have to change, you have to adapt. Yeah. The consumer's adapting. I mean, the consumer market is completely changing all the time.
The consumer's changing completely because we've got, 7 million new gun owners, right? So our demographic is completely changed. With that influx in the amount of people that it's a completely different demographic.
And I've never seen that happen before in the whole time. I've always seen panic buying up and down all the time.
Yeah.
But I've never seen that what is going on today, which is great. I mean, we should embrace them, and we should teach them how to use their firearm, what it's about. Training is a good thing, but also too when it comes to reliability and all the aspects of when it comes to owning a firearm.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be great.
So what is something that you want to change about the industry? What is something that you want to see change?
What I want to see change? The community. I want it to be more of a camaraderie.
Yeah.
You know, I understand competition's healthy, but the thing about it is that every single gun owner, or let's see, any gun company, manufacturer, even gun stores too, which I believe gun stores get the shit out of the stick of the industry, to be honest with you. And it's one of the most important parts. Gun shop owners is one of the most, it's a critical part within the industry. You know why? Because they got to do the 4473. They're the ones that give you access to the gun you purchase. And yet they get the lowest margin of any firearm when this whole process from manufacturing to distributed to them. They get the low end of the stick.
Yeah, and they're doing all the legwork.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Been there.
You've been there.
You have been there.
You've been there, and I've been there too. And it's just, man, it sucks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and shout out to the gun stores out there making it and still staying open and killing it, because you're providing a valuable service when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But just the community, because like gun store owners, manufacturers, everybody, we all take a personal, especially a financial risk and invasion of privacy risk to do what we do to maintain that license to manufacture firearms and to provide weapons to the consumer and weapons for law enforcement out there protecting us. That we all take that risk, and we should all work together.
Yeah.
Essentially what I'm trying to say is help each other out.
Yeah.
And there's too many egos out there, dude.
Yeah, we've had this conversation multiple times. Like our industry can be so toxic for something that we always call like the gun community.
Yeah.
Very rarely do we act like a community.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we're always infighting, and that's one of the reasons we can never really organize to make any headway in so many things, is because we're too busy fighting each other to deal with any of the political issues we have coming up.
Yeah, and as you're fighting each other, it's like the ego will take over, and if you do work together, then somebody has to be on top to say that they did more, and it's just kind of like, that's why we just keep our head down and we work.
Yeah.
For the most part, we want to be more focused on giving information, but we don't get caught up on like how we need to be vocal about certain things. We don't need to be vocal. Like our support for the 2A it's final. It's 100% final, because you get it.
Yeah.
Working at the shop and all the employees there working. I mean, we're making a living off this, and everybody's motivated to build guns and get them out the door and get them to the consumers. It's just like, that is our goal. So that's the most 2A thing you can ever do.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's just because you want to get them out there. And also, too, people advocate, too. That's also a very important part, too. I'm not trying to downplay that or not, but but there's multiple fronts that it has to be done at. But firearms manufacturing is one of the, at that particular front, is very important.
Yeah, just keeping that supply out there.
Yeah.
Making it available for people.
People need guns, man.
Yeah. So, where do you want to see, or where do you hope to see Triarch in the next 5 years?
We have a 5-year plan, and I hope to see that implemented in the sense of where the brand is, as basically, I want to be able for us to scale the complexities that are going right now. It's like, all the complexities we're going through, how do we scale that and maintain it? Because I don't want to get into the whole trap of, okay, I'm not gonna say trap, but the whole, you see gun companies as they get big, they get bigger and bigger, so the stuff they used to do, they scale it back. And I understand you have to, but then it gets to the point to where, like, now you're disengaged from the consumer, and then you're just going through a distributor, and there's no connection anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like gone. Your connection's done through like a Instagram post or something like that, and nobody goes out and does anything anymore. It's just kind of, it's interesting how that, so they take this term where, like, they get out there, they do boots on ground, they do all this custom stuff, they cater to the consumer. And as they get bigger, they scale it back, which I understand you have to a certain extent, but I mean, we don't want to follow that path. We don't want to sit there and just all of a sudden we only sell to distributors, you can't buy a gun direct from us, or we want to, we won't sell directly to a dealer. I've seen that happen before, and we don't want to take that route, because all the companies do.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, I understand, but in my head, it's like, I know it's harder to keep up with those with the community and customizations and everything else. I know it's harder to, but just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we like hard work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we should work harder. We should be thinking about how we can work harder to provide that as we grow,
mm-hmm.
but also, and it's going to be a balancing act. I mean, there's some stuff we might have to work on, but at the same, scale back on. But at the same time, like, I never want to get away from the whole core of our company, which is tailored solutions. I never will get away from that.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the deal breaker right there. We have to be able to provide that.
Yeah.
So
that's why I think it's one of the best things about the company is that we really do provide a tailored solution for the end user. And I think going back to what you experienced in the military, I think the reason I think that's important for people to know is because it sheds light on how serious you take it being, for people who, whether it's professional end user or not. I know that we say tailored solutions for professional end users, but as the company's grown, more and more civilians own the guns.
Yeah.
And more of them are depending on it for their lives and their livelihood, not knowing what's going to happen in the next few years or whatever.
Exactly,
or just, when you're walking down the street with your kids or you're at home.
Yeah.
Knowing that you have a gun tailored to what you need and that it's going to work when you need it to work. Like you said, reliability.
Yeah.
So it's going to go bang when you need it to go bang.
It's going to bang when you need to go bang.
Yeah.
And hit where you need it to hit in that aspect. So that's very important.
Yeah. With that being said, talking about tailored solutions,
Mm-hmm.
what projects are you most excited about that you're working on right now?
Wow. Multiple ones.
I know we can't talk about all of them, but...
I want to say the OZ9.
Yeah?
The OZ9. That is I'm very excited for that project. Also, too, as far as continuation with the Tri-11 program.
Yep.
As we've grown, we've learned a lot. So we're in the process of coming to the challenge of scaling that program.
Yeah.
It's just very tough. It's a hard pistol to manufacture in that sense compared to a lot of other ones. So there's a lot of challenges, and that's our big thing right now. Is moving into 2021 is we're going to increase production, but at the same time we want to make sure that we maintain that quality and that tailored solution when it comes to those pistols. So, but that obviously increasing production and I want to say reorganization of the program, but in the sense of implement a new plan of what is that? Trying to make it sound not so stupid, but we're trying to implement a new manufacturing process and assembly process when it comes to the Tri-11s. So we still want to maintain the custom features, the hand fit stuff, but we have to be able to scale that into a larger manufacturing process. So that is very exciting for this year, and then also the OZ9 too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a good bridge between the Glock and the Tri-11.
It is. And so for those who don't know, there is Triarch is doing a partnered, or it's a partnered gun, right? Partner branded.
So it's a co-branded firearm with Zev Technologies, where it's their OZ9 pistol, where they're letting us OEM the frame and we have it on slide. So we're gonna make our own version of the OZ9, and basically just put some of the features that we do normally with the Glocks and the Tri-11s and kind of combine it into that one.
Yeah, awesome. And when can people expect to start seeing that?
Gosh, hopefully end of January. Hope to do the release. Right now we have some built out. We're just in the testing phase right now. So,
T&E.
Yeah, T&E right now.
Yes, keep an eye out for that. We'll have some content coming on that.
Oh, big time.
But notice he didn't say PCC, so
no PCC.
We're still hanging on. Maybe,
you can hang on all
maybe
you
an
want,
AK or
nah, PCC, working with a couple companies. Obviously, we sell B&T for that PCC side, and then also with another company local up here with Revolutionary Rollocks, and working with them as far as the PCC solution. But I want to AR PCC. I can't do it.
I'm going to keep working. One day it'll happen.
One day.
So what has been the biggest hardship or obstacle you've had to overcome as a business and manufacturer?
Lack of personnel. We have great, and honestly, that it's kind of like crazy because it's our strength, right? Like our team is amazing. Mm-hmm. Now, if I double that, man, it'd be game on. But for the most part, it's great because everybody works, everybody puts in their hard hours, and everybody cares. Mm-hmm. That's the best part, and that's I'm so thankful of. But that was the challenge is building that team and going through the process of finding the right people, and I've been lucky, blessed, all that stuff to have good people come into the company affiliate themselves with the company and help out in any means, whether you're working there every day, helping out with, just helping us T&E products, to content creation, to marketing, to and all our influencers out there. That all helps out, and we're just very lucky to have those people.
Yeah, and I think the key to that is that I think a lot of people just assume, you hire like in any other place, but I think there's so much effort that goes in at TRIARC to find the right people that it takes so much longer. I mean, I've seen Katya go through the resumes, and then out of the resumes, how many of those get approved, and then out of those, that when they have their interview and like, hey, we want to come do a working interview, and then how many of those actually make the cut. So it's like a very small percentage that actually make it through that whole process. But it's so important to have that right. We always talk about chemistry in the shop, making sure that having the right chemistry and that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because you brought Katya in. She was like three interviews, and she did well in every single one. And the majority of people we hire, we've known for a while, for a long time. But we're thankful for everybody we have on board right now. Like extremely thankful. And it is a process, because even with the influencer thing, that's the old way of doing stuff. Just throwing money at people, and it's not organic. Like I couldn't pay somebody just to say good stuff about my product. Yeah. And here's the thing: like, if you don't like it, just tell me. And give me feedback so I can make it better, but I'm not going to pay somebody to like my product. Yeah. Like, I've heard comments, I get that a lot. Like, man, if people only knew, what the marketing budget was. Because there's certain stuff that I have to find that balance on what to spend marketing dollars and what not to. But there's one thing, like if it's not organic, people can tell these days. And you've seen it in the firearms industry as you came up. How like one person is shooting for this person, now they're shooting for this person. And that's just like a whole completely thing about money. Yeah. And it's just like, do you even like the product, or is the product just ill do, but I'm getting paid? Yeah. No, when it comes to the day where the person doesn't like the product anymore, shoot it. Hey, no hard feelings. Like it's just the way it is. But I want people out there shooting a product to shoot it because they like it, or they like they're part of the team, because they are part of the team. I want them to feel like they are part of the TRIARC family, because in my eyes, they are doing me a good service in the aspect of like getting good, providing me data, T&E, any problems that happen, we can catalog that, or them just being good people out there talking about the company. I'm very grateful for that. So
So that's great that you hit on influencer marketing, because that's what we're talking about next. Yeah. But I don't know if I can say this publicly, so if I can't, we'll just cut it out. Okay. But what a lot of people don't know is that I'm in the conversation on with a lot of those people who, like, if we're looking at somebody to be an influencer, an influencer marketer, but the conversation always starts with, give us honest feedback. Yeah. If it sucks, tell us why it sucks and how we can make it better. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I love, is that we never go, hey, we want you to shoot for us. It's always, hey, we noticed that you're using our product, or hey, we noticed you use this product, and we want you to try this out. You don't have to post about it. You don't have to say anything. Like, we don't tell you what to say. We don't tell you when to post or anything like that. We don't expect anything. The only thing we expect is just give us honest feedback. Yeah. I remember a few of the emails that we've sent out is just, hey, run it into the ground, try to break it, tell us what you think after doing that, and then tell us how we can make it better so that we can implement those changes.
Yeah, and that's like the most honest policy to do, because people can tell now. Yeah. And it's just like the day of like, I'm sorry, but the day of like, an influencer running around with like all these different logos on there, I'm like, just no, it's not real. Yeah. You know what I mean? To me, it's not. And we don't tell people, oh, you better post like 3 times a week or 2. No, we don't do that. The moment I tell somebody to post something, it's done with. Yeah. Because they'll post it if they like it. If they don't, I'm not going to make somebody like my product. Yeah. Like, that's just weird to me.
Make the product better.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I'll make it better. If you say you don't like it because of this, well, cool. Let me review that and test it out myself. Yeah. I'll take honest feedback all day. Shit, man. I think we got this far. There's some people that had some choice words with our product, but hey, it makes us better in the long run. So,
well, and a lot of that goes into, a lot of people ask about the LE side of it, right? Yeah. So that's where it started, tailored solutions for professional end users. But I've noticed some of the comments, some of our videos on the TRIARC page have been, why do you guys always have LE? It's like, look, they're just out running the guns every day. Yeah. We want civilian feedback as well. It's just civilians just don't have the budget that LE does when they're out, especially SWAT guys that are training daily for 8 to 10, 12 hours a day. they're gonna break stuff faster, and just like three gunners, they're out there breaking stuff every weekend.
Shooters,
So we're just wanting our guns to be run as hard as possible, so that we know where their breaking point is, so that we can then fix that.
Yeah, and you brought an interesting point too. It's like when we come to like the professional end user, when we talk about LE and just that side of the house. Well, for the most part, they're taking the guns out on a daily basis. It's their duty gun, so they're with it every day, and so they're going to get the most time with it. I know, but hey, some civilian people too. They keep it in their vehicle all the time. By all means, please do. I mean, you have that right, which is awesome. But I know some people will just keep it in their house, and it's easier to EDC a pistol than it is a rifle, so I get that. But for the most part, when it's a duty rifle, they have to carry it with them every day because they're on duty, and so that's where we get some of the, hey, it's built for that everyday use. Whether you choose to carry it every day, whether you put it in your safe or you keep it next to your bed, whatever you choose to do, it's there. It's built to that standard to be used every day.
Yeah, so. Yeah. That's the thing I think people don't realize, is that it is built for that. But so on the topic of influencer marketing, so we've kind of gotten your thoughts on it, but some of the negative spin that is received lately, and you and I have had this conversation. Yeah. It's somewhat of a necessary evil for our industry. Yeah. So maybe can you go a little more in depth on that, and like what are your thoughts on influencer marketing and then the negative spin that it's received lately? Because a lot of people have been kind of anti, as of late, it's been a popular thing to be anti-influencer marketing, but I think there's a way for it to be done right, and there's a way for it to be done wrong.
You're hitting the nail on the head right there. They're exactly right. And every manufacturer, you guys have the choice whether to use it or not. Every industry does it. I mean, you could look at certain celebrities that post an ad for, alcohol.
Fit tea.
But yeah, fit tea. I mean, they do it because, you need a lot of people out there pushing the product. And if they have a large following, well, it's a good business sense to put your product in front of their following too. But how you go about it is all up to you, and how you want your product to be perceived. And that's why we go with the whole honesty route. Like, it's just like, if you like it, cool. If you don't. Like, some people have good experiences, some people have bad, but I can roll with either one, to be honest with you, because it's going to be honest in the first place. And we mess up. I got nothing to, all we can do is be better. I'm not going to sit there and argue with somebody or anything else like that. If that's their experience, that's their experience. But for the most part, how to do it right, in my opinion, is just be honest. Once you start throwing out money, and this is where we get to the whole paid thing too, because paying somebody to like your product is different for paying somebody to be able to provide that person to support that product, right? Because some people who have don't have full-time jobs, or they're trainers or anything else like that, well, there's expenses incurred. Like every time you travel to demos, every time you do this and that, people incur expenses, and of course I'm going to help out with that in that aspect, but I'm not going to pay somebody to just like my stuff. It's just like, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting the take on it, because I think people just need to kind of really draw the line of like, when is it encroach on not being honest, and when is it encroach on just being fake? Yeah. And that's their person. That's up to them to decide that. But for me, the moment they don't like it, I'm not going to ever pay somebody to like my stuff. Yeah. I won't. Yeah. And it's just no. And
that's one thing that I've really appreciated, and people again don't know this, that I've been on both ends of it, right? So I've been on the end of helping get guns out for T&E, right? And again, I know, because I've been in those emails and those discussions and conference calls, and it's never been a question of, what's the price in order to get you to do this. It's been more so, hey, we want to send you a gun to try out. We want your honest feedback. You can do whatever you want with it, but just give us the honest feedback. So I've been on that end of it, but I've also now been on the other side of, now that I have my channel and I do, reviews now.
You get expenses, man.
Yeah, it's expenses, right? Yeah. And so people do send stuff for you to review, but it's never, there's never a point in like, so there was a big deal about Leviathan, right? And so like I signed with Leviathan, I'm on with Leviathan, and they'll send me stuff, but Leviathan gives me the freedom. Like when I signed on, my main thing was like, hey, can I be honest? Like, can I be honest about product? And they're like, yeah. They're like, absolutely. Like, if you don't like it and there's something wrong with it, they may say, hey, don't post it, or like whatever, and we'll fix it, and then we'll send you the updated version so that we can, make it better.
Yeah, that's one thing about marketing
but
groups.
It's necessary.
It is necessary
because in our industry, from the marketing standpoint, it's not like other industries, because we are so heavily regulated. Right,
dude. I won't touch on that. But
we're so heavily regulated that we need marketing influencers in order to get information about our product out. Otherwise, you're going to end up paying people to see their videos. Like right now, you can go watch Grand Thumb for free.
Yeah.
You can go watch, Warrior Poet has their channel.
The other channel,
but there's a ton of for free on there. And you can go get all the information for free.
Yeah.
But the moment we stop, providing guns or helping pay, and what we mean by helping pay is range fees or ammo.
Do production costs.
Production costs. It costs money to have cameras and lights and have a team.
And then that's crazy because we're obviously in front of the camera, but behind everything going on right now, Jimmy buys great. He buys good equipment. He should have great equipment because he's doing great stuff. And just like us, we have great products and great parts, as far as what we spend our money on. But you look at this, it costs money. And the cool thing is how as you've grown and as Triarch grown and Jimmy's grown, where, man, lighting you have now, so much better. Your cameras are better. But it takes money to do that stuff. And that's the whole thing about this. We are heavily restricted. And we have to be more resourceful and clever. We can't just be like alcohol. I know alcohol is restricted too, but they can put up a billboard all day and all night.
As long as they have the appropriate disclaimer, they can put it up and they can do an ad. But we can't do that.
No, we can't do that. And so, and stuff like Leviathan, I see as necessary, but how you go about it and how you sign with them is on you, right? And we sign with them on the aspect, not for influencer, and that's one thing. Marketing companies have different aspects of how you want to push a product. We don't not on the influencer side, but the way Jimmy set it up was that, well, hey, this is what I want to do, and they're like, great. And if they didn't, then Jimmy would be like, no, it's not for me, and do it my own way. But content creation costs money. It's time, it's labor. Editing's labor. Every time I call this dude, he's like, just editing again. I'm like, cool. And then he gets mad at me because he sends me a video. I'm like, nah, I don't like, change this up. And he's like, oh, okay.
Let's change the music.
Yeah, change the music.
Let's add this in.
It's always like, music, man. Synth, man. No, but that's the whole thing. It takes time. It takes money. To have a computer to do editing in an ample amount of time, you have to buy an expensive computer.
Yeah. Especially when we're putting out weekly,
Yeah, exactly. And we're putting out weekly, and it's the time it takes to even shoot a video. It's taking 3 days sometimes in some aspect, and the travel. We'll have to work with locations, paying locations. It costs money, and that's one thing about this industry. It's just as long as you're honest about it. Yeah, that's just the final word, because we all know, or we should have enough common sense to know, if you're in a business, you have to pay for marketing.
Yeah, sure.
You have to. And word of mouth is great. Don't get me wrong. And boots on ground is half the coin. There's two sides of the coin. Your marketing has to match reality. Has to match the boots on ground. And I feel for content creators because I know how hard it is. And I know how, and just think of all the work that Jimmy does, or all that the content creators do, and then all the work that people do to build a gun and all that labor, it's like two sides of a coin. It has to happen. And it's pretty interesting. And I understand, but there's good and bad to it. I mean, there's the bad side of it is people who, there's almost extortion. If you don't pay me money, then I'll do a bad review. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That is so fucked up.
Yeah.
But then people can choose to follow those people or not. It's just it's like that whole free market thing where, man, if you know that review is just bought and paid for, well, it's your choice to sit there and not go with that company. Or it's your choice to sit there and ask more questions about the review, so to speak. So yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. Yeah,
there's been a few of those. I've been on emails, and we won't name names, but there's been a few of I don't put out reviews unless I like it, and I keep every product that's sent to me, so no bail agreements. It has to be mine. Yeah. And just this whole list of demands.
Yeah. And like I said, I can work with that because I understand content creation. It takes time and money. And I can understand that. But if it's just more of hey, this is my expenses.
Here's the price.
Here's the price. Not just right out the bat, because we didn't even tell you what we want yet. Yeah. But just right out the bat, it comes like that. I'm like, it just seems like,
we'll go a different route. Yeah.
Yeah, you go a different route, because there's been awesome people out there who sit there and say, I'm gonna review your product. Just people just reviewed products that we haven't even talked to, which is awesome. Yeah. And we're very super thankful for that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we value the end consumer's feedback just as much as an influencer.
Big time.
There's no way we weigh the influencer over the end consumer, because people who are out using it, and a lot of the feedback that we value the most, you guys will never see, because it's usually law enforcement or contractors or ex-military guys who run our guns, and they just don't want to be they don't want to be in a public sphere. So they will come give us feedback directly, and we value that. So
and it's all.
And we read comments too. Yeah, we read
comments too.
On every Instagram post, on every YouTube. We might not be responding to all of them, but we do read them,
Yeah.
and we're like, okay, is there some validity to this? Can we, is there something we can make better or do better?
Yeah, because there's some comments that are constructive, and there's some comments that are just like,
yeah.
But that's the whole thing. Everybody's going to deal with that, but you have to be engaged. That's one thing I'd have to say to anybody out there. You have to be engaged, and it's tough because social media changes all the time too, man.
Yeah, it does.
Like, it's a
forever changing.
It's forever changing.
The platforms, the algorithms, all of it.
Yeah, it's forever changing.
So last question on influencer marketing, and we'll move on. And I only bring this up because I know you and I have had this discussion, and I know the answer, but this is something I've seen come up. So part of my job is to just research our brand and make sure, see what information is out there, and if there's misinformation, okay, how do we need to address it? So one of the big questions one of the things I see brought up a lot that I just want to ask you publicly: how many shooters do you pay to run our guns, and how much do you pay them?
Wow, zero.
Yeah, so I think, and again, we've had this discussion. There's this common misconception that we pay shooters to shoot our guns.
Yeah.
Fieldcraft doesn't get paid to shoot our guns.
No, and that's
Brittany doesn't get paid. Will
No.
doesn't get paid. I don't get paid. Like we run it because we're investing in the company.
Well, invest in the company, but also too, it's just like other things. And on this side of the Fieldcraft, it's like, and just up for honest. Well, for just like with the podcast, they have rates, and we agree to them. But here's the thing, though: they're super flexible with me because we got a great relationship, and they like us. And when it comes to like paying, it's just like we do the thing where we support each other.
Yeah.
Like help them get, like push the classes, push the training, recommend them. And there's incentives too. Like what we've done, and this is like, if you have a company, you can do this too, but what we've done with influencers is just like, that's where we do the whole coupon code. Because we could track how well they sell, and then from there we get a percentage back on if they need more guns.
Yeah.
I mean, you can work
or
it like
ammo
or ammo, and we support them in all that aspect. Hey, you need more ammo? Cool, let's do that. You want to try a different product? Cool, let's do that. I mean, because they're supporting us, we want to support them, and we just want to keep it honest. And certain other companies, when it comes to like training companies, it's just like, well, there's certain expenses that they have when they're traveling around and multiple instructors are using the products, and they need more products, and then that's where something you can get into like, okay, what's a set negotiated rate? Like, if you have so many training classes for this year, okay, well, this year we're gonna do a negotiated rate to help with ammo expenses and for demos and things like that. Like, I want to support that because it costs money, dude. Yeah. Like, 100%.
And it's data. It's feedback.
It's data for me.
There's more rounds downrange that we know. Like, okay, here's the point where it failed.
Yes.
And you guys are so busy building guns that it allows, when you are able to turn that over to somebody else, to go, hey, just run it into the ground, man. Just burn it down.
How many times do I get to shoot a gun?
Yeah.
Barely.
Exactly.
Barely any. This guy's trying to get me out shooting all the time. I'm like,
Chris, come shoot. He's like, I'm at the shop. I gotta do this.
Yeah. Building guns will give you poor gun handling skills, So.
Which is why I make him shoot in the videos. On top of that, I think one of the other misconceptions too, people think that we pay shooters, and I know we don't. People think that we have this massive marketing budget, and that's how Triarch has gotten big. And it's really not.
No.
It's just simply because we built a product that works, and the people who run it believe in it.
Yeah.
Like, if you knew how small the marketing budget was, like, you'd be astounded.
Oh, compared to other companies, too.
And one thing people don't know is that my very first Triarch rifle, I sold to buy a better camera so that I could make better content for Triarch.
Yeah.
The very first, I had an SE, the very first one.
Yeah, remember you told me, I was like, dude, do what you gotta do, bro. It doesn't hurt my feelings because...
Yeah, because I thought I was gonna get in trouble for selling it, and I was like, look, I don't want to sell this because, this is my first Triarch rifle, and then Chris was like, no, do what you gotta do, man.
I'll build you another one, bro.
Yeah, there will always be more guns.
There'll always be more, so like, we got you. But I'm glad that that rifle was able to help you.
It was a catalyst.
It was a catalyst. I'm glad that product was able to help you get to the next point, and then plus, you created a new Triarch shooter out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was pretty awesome.
Cool. So moving on from influencer marketing.
I'm not done yet. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like I'm missing something. I can't think of it.
We can always come back to it.
Okay, we'll come back.
What would your advice be to someone wanting to get started in the industry? I know we kind of had this. We were jokingly having this conversation the other day, but what would your advice be to somebody who wanted to get started in the industry?
Get ready to grind. Get ready to fucking grind, dude.
Yeah.
Because it's an uphill battle, man. And sometimes you'll be climbing that hill with anchors. And throughout that journey, you'll be able to cut some anchors and climb a little faster. But you get ready to grind, man.
Yeah.
And I've said this many times before, that the whole pushing forward, and for what it comes from is that whole, theme of on deadly ground, where, as wars are fought and battles are won, when troops are put onto a battlefield where they have nowhere to run, like D-Day is one of the most best examples where they couldn't run back in the ocean, they had to go forward. Mm-hmm. And you apply that whole mentality to today, like it is all I have.
Yeah.
Right? When it comes to, and so there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to quit. There's nowhere to, so like you have to have that mindset going into it. Like, this is yours. I take it very seriously. I value everybody that's part of it. You got it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what about young entrepreneurs? Maybe they're watching this and they're not necessarily looking to start a gun company or a gun business or something related to the gun industry, but they're into guns, but they're maybe a young entrepreneur. So somebody who has come out of the military, who's come through this journey of working for somebody else, for somebody else's dream, and then finally coming to a point where now you're building your dream and your business. What would your advice be to somebody who's on that path?
Seek mentorship. Mentorship's always the best. That's worked for me. I've throughout this whole journey, I've had great mentors, and you'll have mentors that will, show you what's wrong too in that aspect. But mentorship's been instrumental into Triarch. I've had good mentors from even before I started Triarch, because they've been with me through this whole journey of teaching me things here and there, or linking me up, or networking me with other people that can help some of the problems that I've had. So mentorship's a big role into I feel success, because you can learn. I guess you can learn stuff in a college or school course, I guess, but I don't know. But to learn from people who've actually kind of been there, done that, that's what they're gonna teach you along the way of what their shortcomings were and what their successes were.
Yeah.
So but that's been a big part of it. So I mean, as those of you looking to start out, I mean, you have mentors out there. You've gotten to a certain point to where you want to branch onto your own. Well, just find somebody. Mm-hmm. I mean, give me a call.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I got no problem talking about that all day, because I think it's very important. And I'm gonna tell you what, right now, there's been times where just a single conversation I've had with somebody has changed my life, or made me do something different that was very positive. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, now we get into the final part of our interview. We're winding down, so we're gonna go to our lightning round. So first thing that comes to mind.
Let me do this real quick. Seems like it's got this little wiggle to it.
Yeah. So the first thing that comes to mind in these 5 questions is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So 5 questions, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So just so people can get to know you a little bit more outside of just Triarch. So, all right. Favorite movie?
Man, Predator.
So you guys saw it in the background. Everyone commented on it. They saw it in the background of the gun build.
Oh man, that movie, dude. I mean, there's some other ones. Don't get me wrong. There's top 5, but man, I think honestly, Predator.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking amazing movie, man.
Predator's up there, for sure.
I mean, every young person should watch that movie.
Yeah, absolutely. It's okay. So before we go to the next one, it's funny. I was thinking about that. It's funny how art shapes culture, and just thinking about how like the guys we hang out with, the guys who grew up in the 70s and 80s, and all the movies from like the 80s or grew up watching those. How what they're into is so different from people who grew up watching movies from the 90s or the 2000s.
Well, what I boiled down to is how much effort you had to put into a movie back then.
Oh yeah.
Because you didn't have CGI.
Yeah.
There was no like so many takes or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And what's fascinating is that you watch a lot of like kind of like, I'm saying documentaries or stories how those productions went. I watch a lot of those, and then when I realize how much work goes into it, and you look how some movies look so like they're timeless. Like Aliens is another one. Like you look at that movie to now this day, and it's like amazing. Yeah. So, but yeah, a lot of effort going into that movie.
Absolutely. One drink for the rest of your life.
Wow, dude. I'll tell you what. Basil Hayden's Caribbean Rye. Big Rock.
I thought it was gonna be Angel's Envy, but
I had a lot of good times with Angel's Envy, but I think the darker
that Basil Hayden's is
the darker spice and the darker the molasses flavor to it. Yeah.
So if you want to win Chris's heart, show up at the shop with Basil Hayden's.
It will get your order bumped up by 1 day. No.
One whole day. So favorite album to build guns to?
Oh man. That's the split, dude. I'm conflicted.
Yeah?
Yeah. I want to say Gunship. and anything tool.
Anything.
Anything
I
tool.
thought it was gonna. I thought it was gonna be gunship for sure. But I can see tool. Yeah.
Honestly, like that, they're different. They're different moods, bro.
Yeah, you got to catch Chris on the right day because he'll call me some days like, bro, I was listening to the Tool album and I have this whole idea for a video.
Yeah, I got this whole. That's where I get my inspiration.
Yeah. So
deep dives is what I call it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would be your last meal?
Wow. Gosh. Probably that A5 Wagyu at Nick and Sam's here in Dallas.
I knew it was going to be Nick and Sam's. I knew it. I knew it was going to be Nick and Sam's.
Man, that place is an experience. So
yeah.
If you're in DFW area, go to Nick and Sam's. Shameless plug for those guys, but they treat us great. They treat the Triarch team really good.
Yeah.
So awesome place. So
yeah,
it's an experience.
Sure. So last question. This is going to be the tough one. I have an idea of what it's going to be.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident I know what it is.
I'm sure you are.
But we'll see. One non-Triarch gun for the rest of your life.
Non-Triarch gun. Oof. I know what you think I'm going to say, but we're going to go a little bit deeper.
Okay, let's hear it.
Not a love hate, We're not going to go the M9, But man, that's a tough one, dude. Because I have a lot of.
I know. We've had conversations. I've seen the guns that have come through the shop. We've had many conversations. I've seen what's in the safe. Yeah. So I was for sure. I was confident I knew what it would be, but now I'm curious.
I got accused of my personal safe just being like a junk, like a gun part junk room.
Wait, was it Zach that said it?
Zach said it.
Yep.
Zach's like, you got another garage sale. Just give it all your junk. I'm like, no, it's my junk.
Those are classics, man.
It's my junk.
They have sentimental value.
Sentimental value, man.
Yeah,
100%.
I get that. I understand that. I'm with you on that.
God, but it's pretty hard to say, man. There's so many. Gosh, man. Yeah, it's a hard one to pick, man. I can go over a couple, but
it's got to be one.
Oof, man, one.
It's got to be one.
Damn, man. I don't know, man.
You gotta take another drink for that one.
Let's take another drink, man. What would be the one? Honestly, okay. So I've been working on this clone build, right? All you cloner guys out there, I get it, right?
He's finally come around.
It's finally come around, but I've been on this whole journey of trying to replicate one of the M4s I had over deployment. And so I actually had a couple track barrels made into M4 profile.
Yep.
So
I remember those.
Yeah. So, but I'm still working on that gun. Working on it in the sense of I messed it up, the first one. So pinning an A2 front side post is a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
So luckily I have an extra barrel, but I would like to finish that gun one day.
Yeah.
And just build it out and have all that.
That's a Triarch gun. It's got a Triarch barrel.
Yeah, but it is. But it has the M4 that it's just kind of one of those things where the sentimental value.
I got you.
And it's kind of like where the brand started. Just how, and those guys in the military relate, and some of the guys, especially those guys deployed, where man, you had that thing on your body every day.
Yeah.
Every day you had that thing on your body. So, and you grab it all the time. There's you guys roll out the wire, going green, as a Raycon 1, just freaking, every day, man. That was a freaking lifestyle for, so that's where I got so fond of that weapon. And it kind of started the whole Triarch journey is just, I wanted to build a rifle to where I would grab that rifle every day and I trusted it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew it would work. And I took care of my gun. Like it never failed me in combat, never did. So I would grab that, always had confidence into it, and that's what I want people to have with our rifles is to grab it and know that it works.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and
awesome.
for someone to not have that it'd break my heart.
Yeah.
So I'd fix it as much as I can to instill that confidence. But that's how kind of like when Triarch started, man. Be able to have that trust with the rifle. So me kind of building out that gun is just a sentimental thing to me. Plus I understand the whole clone aspect of sourcing the parts. Gotta have the.
I'm blaming Scott for this one.
Yes.
Scott, if you're watching this, I'm blaming
Scott
you.
knows the way.
Scotty knows the way.
For those of you at the shop, Scott's the final approval. He'll let you know if it's the way or if it's not the way.
It's not the way. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Scott's the
pretty
final
much
say.
99% of stuff on the website,
Yeah.
Scott allows it to be on the website.
That's awesome. I was confident it was going to be a wheel gun. That's what I thought.
Dude,
I thought for sure it was
in
going to be.
my head was going to be that Colt Cobra I got.
That's what I thought, man.
I got a
was
Colt
like,
Cobra from the 70s.
I was like, man, he's going to pocket one of those wheel guns. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, the Colt revolver. Let's just say old Colt revolvers. Not like I'm talking like the pythons and the cobras. That's like one of my favorite things. Just because the finish and the fit, everything's beautiful.
Maybe one day we'll have a Triarch wheel gun.
Never.
One day.
Unless I can like find those dudes who taught other dudes. How to make.
I'm just the dude playing the dude disguised as another dude.
Who can like teach you how to build that gun exactly the same way with that bluing. Yeah. We'd make one, but it's kind of a shame, man. I just realized like how dying of the art that is, of like those guys who made those revolvers back then, and you just can't replicate it today.
You can't.
And I'm sure they can't, Colt released it, but nowhere.
It's not the same.
I won't trust it. It will never be the same.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think of that like the 1911 world too. Because there's so many people out there with good information, but just don't know why they don't want to share, man. They're gonna let that pistol.
It's gonna die with them. Yeah.
They're gonna let that legacy. And I want to continue that legacy, bro.
It goes back to what we talked about earlier about community, right?
It is.
The greater community long term.
Yeah.
And that's part of why we started Average, was just sharing information, right? Just let people try out Triarch guns, or try out, whatever we have, whatever gear it is, answer questions, provide information, connect them with other people. But that, so it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, like we've got to be more of a community and less of these factions within our community of like, no, we only do our thing over here, we only hang out with these people, and it's like,
I'm like, why?
Yeah.
That's the thing, even when we do our armors courses, we teach everything we do at the shop. I don't hold anything back.
Yeah.
People call, what are your gas force size? Boom, we tell them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. It's not like a freaking secret.
What's your buffer, weight, and spring combo? There you go.
What it all comes down to is effort.
Yeah.
So you can lay out the whole recipe for somebody, but are they going to put as much effort into you when it comes to building it as you will into it? And that's what basically it stems from, because the information's out there. It's not like it's rocket science. It's just having that mindset of understanding the cycles of operation and understanding how you want to make those efficient, and just kind of going through that whole process of what you're going to do on the back end when building it. And that's what we teach every one of our guys. It's kind of interesting, but back onto the 1911 is that it's still one of my all-time favorite handguns, but it's just such an iconic firearm. And it still does work. And gosh, it was only till I'm not saying recently, but 10 years ago when I was finally kind of retired with the those top tier military units, but that speaks highly for them to use it for that long. Yeah.
How long did it take for him to find a replacement?
How long? Yeah. It's a good fucking gun, man. It shoots nice.
I EDC mine, so even though it's a government.
That's what I'm saying, man. It shoots well. I love that platform. I love the double stack. It gives it longevity, gives it the capacity. It's a challenge. The gun's a challenge. It's not easy. You can't just throw it together. But even Glocks, you can't just throw Glocks together too. I've learned that.
Yeah. But especially when you're trying to make them perform better. Yeah,
you can't. But yeah, that pistol's it's a pleasure to be able to provide that. It's a pleasure to be able to work on them. And I'm glad that some of the mentors have taught me some stuff. And everybody that comes work for me, I teach them everything I know. Yeah. But we always want to know more. You know? So, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you sitting down and chatting with me today.
Anytime, bro.
I know it took a lot to get Zach to approve to let you out of the office.
Zach to approve, it's good. I had
see the tier of the shop is actually it's like Scotty knows the way. Then you get to Chris, then you get to Zach, and then you get Ruthie. If you deal with Ruthie, you're in some big trouble.
Yeah, you're gonna be in trouble. Man, so.
There's no helping you. Like there's nothing Zach or Chris can do to help you if you got to deal with Ruthie.
Yeah, even Kate and Val too. You just
man. Yeah. For sure.
I come to my desk and it's full of Post-it notes of, I better do shit.
Yeah.
So, and I do it because I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So, but in that aspect, just and the cool thing about all this is that in Jimmy's worked at the shop. He's been there, and the cool thing is as he wanted to grow, what he does in his content creation and his channel, it works out best in the sense of like. I'm very grateful that Triarch is in the position to do that. And that's what the whole company's for, is to be able to provide to individuals who put in so much effort into the company to where now there's an avenue for Jimmy to do that. Yeah. And that is what it's all about. Yeah. What it's all about. And hopefully as we grow up and we bring more people on, and the people who are on with us, we could send them out to do more training, or hey man, if they want to start a different business, I'll freaking help them. I don't care. So that's what it's for, man, is to give to those who put into it.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Anything you want to say to customers, potential customers, before we sign off?
Customers who, obviously through everything going on right now with election, COVID, for the customers who are hanging with us, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Gosh, it means a lot to me. And it means a lot to everybody working at TRIARC. It means even to Jimmy too, to where we understand how it goes. We've been on that other end of on the consumer side where, waiting's tough, but for the most part, we greatly appreciate you guys being patient. And all I can tell you right now is you'll get the best from us. And for those of you new looking into us and you want questions, just give us a call, man. Our phone lines are always open. We always answer. And for that one point in time where the phone lines are busy and you don't get an answer, just, shoot us an email, shoot us a call. We all answer phones. Even I answer phones. Like we all take, nobody.
It's amazing how many people comment on videos like, oh, I called and Chris answered. And it's like, the CEO answers the phone. So like everybody works, and you can DM me, and like some of you guys know, because some of you guys have DM'd me at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'll respond. If I'm awake, I'll respond and be like, hey, I'll find out whatever I can, or if you got questions about orders or whatever. We try to provide as much information and help you as much as possible. We're all about providing customer service.
Yeah, it's very important to me, and that's why we take the extra effort to answer the phone on the weekends as much as we can, or answer those DMs. It's important to us, and we respect that. But for the most part, man, I'm ready for this next year, 2021. So.
And the crew's killing it, man. So if you guys want to send like cookies or like drinks to the shop, I mean, they're working 7 days a week. Sometimes they're working 12, 14-hour days. And that's not, that's not an exaggeration. That's really, I was over the other day and I brought, a couple cases of Modelo over.
Oh, just clutch, dude.
Because it is what it is. The guys are working hard. Everybody there is working hard. Nobody's taking it easy there. They're all doing everything they can to get your orders out as soon as possible and to make sure they stand up to the quality and standard that TRIARC has raised over this 5-6 years.
Yeah, it's a tight family, man.
Yeah.
Tight family, and the family's growing, which is awesome. And we're bringing new people on board, which is amazing. And we're looking forward to that this whole year with expansion and other projects we got going on.
2021 is going to be a fun year.
Oh, man. It's going to be a whole nother
I know we can't talk about it, but
we can't talk about it.
But I know it's going to be a fun year. So
it's going to be a fun year, and plus, I don't know if I'm going to need, more booze or more food. I don't know.
Both. They balance each other out. Yeah. So before we close out, I just want to say one thing, and I've said this multiple times on my channel, and you guys know, but I haven't had a chance to say it to you personally, Chris, on camera. But I just want to tell you thank you for the opportunity you've given me. Everybody in this industry has somebody else who believes in them and who gives them a shot, gives them a chance. And you were the person who gave me a shot. You gave me a chance. And it took me from working at a gun store like we talked about earlier to working with now one of the top tier manufacturers in the industry. Yeah. And I'm forever grateful for the opportunity you give me for believing in me and then also supporting me in doing this.
It goes both ways.
A lot of times there's companies that don't want you to go do your own thing. And Chris has been nothing but supportive and has given advice and has been helpful, has connected me with other people and helped me grow in a multitude of ways. So just want to say thank you personally for that.
Anytime,
thank you for believing in me and then giving me a shot and giving me a chance. Because everybody needs that. And
everybody does.
Everybody does, like somebody gave you a shot.
Yep, somebody gave me a shot, 100%.
You gave me a shot. Somebody's going to give someone else. And so
it's reciprocation, dude. If that stuff doesn't keep going, then it's going to die.
Yeah. And so one day, hopefully, I'll have the opportunity to pay that forward to somebody else. And that's why I'm just forever grateful, forever indebted. And but also, that's a big part of why I do what I do, just because I want to be able to provide that information and that opportunity for somebody else.
Yeah.
So. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I love you, man. Thank you
too, man.
for everything.
It's likewise, though.
Yeah.
It's likewise, man. I tell you, all the effort you put in, that's also people that, man, the effort you put in, I guarantee I'll put it back into, man. So it's just paying it forward, man. That's a lesson that I've learned through this whole journey, man. You have to pay it forward. You have to.
Yeah.
It keeps it going, man.
Absolutely.
So.
Cool. Well, let's get some grub. Let's get out of here. Yeah. So thank you guys for following along. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Chop that bell so you get notified every time we upload a video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you go follow Triarch and all the stuff that we're doing over there. I don't know when this video will drop, but make sure you go watch the video with the dummies so you can see us blow their heads off.
Yeah.